Welcome to part 25 of our RC car buggy build, and for the B44.2 we're going to go ahead and finish building out and installing our rear suspension. So in this step we're going to go ahead and thread in the hinge pins, and admittedly this is more difficult than it looks, and it's a lot of times you have like a little flashing in the arms. Sometimes either the front arms or the rear arms have a little extra plastic, so one idea is just to thread it through one time. I'm just going to go ahead and use some pliers and just try to thread that in a little bit more. And once I finally get it in, oops, and I just dropped it out actually. Let me go ahead and try this again here. This is a little bit more trying than it really needs to be. It's just difficult because the hinge pin just doesn't want to go all the way to the end. There seems to be some extra flashing in there, so I'm just going to go ahead and just try to poke it in here again, and just making sure that it kind of stays in there. And admittedly the difficulty with threading this one in is that you have the flashing in the rear arms, and then also you want to get the spacers in there too. You have a aluminum spacer that's blue, and then we have a regular ball stud spacer washer as well. So the silver spacer essentially goes on the inside, and then the blue spacer goes on the outside. And this is the difficulty I'm having, is just trying to get the spacers in here. And your mileage would vary. I'm just finding it just really difficult to get them to line up. I don't have necessarily like a magic solution for this. One idea might be just to, you're going to have an easier time building this because you're not filming it as you're building it. But one idea would just be just to stack one on top of the other and just thread it in as you're looking in there. So I finally did get it on there, and I just can't wait to screw in the retaining clip for this hinge pin. And I hope that this rear arm never breaks, because putting in these two spacers is just so difficult. Also, if your rear arm ever does break, make sure that you look for these two spacers, the silver washer and the blue washer. Sometimes, of course you're going to look for it, but sometimes when you're at a race, the turn marshals might pick up your car and not be aware of some parts that it may have fallen out. So you may, if your rear arm does break, just double check that you have those parts, and then you and the turn marshal might go back and look for some of those parts. But just so you know, the rear arm does break, and it is kind of a painful process to get that side on. So let me just get this in focus again, and let me just rack the focus here so we just take a look here. And I just want to show you that we had the wheel hub on there, and the Siva is there, and I just want to pop in the Sivas in here, and I'm just going to bend that over. There we go. And let me just go back here and just check this here. So I just want to put in this other washer here. So this time I'm just using my pliers, and then I'm just kind of tapping as I go. So this is perhaps the better strategy for getting the washers on there. but your mileage is going to vary. Some of you would probably have a better technique than this. I find that this works for me, but not exactly easy. It's just kind of a more of a difficult process, but it's going a little faster than before, so I'm pretty happy about that. Then I just push in the hinge pin, and it's not quite lining up, so let me just try to get this to line up there. Difficulty is, just the difficulty really is just kind of you're just so impatient. You want to just get out and get racing, but we just got to make sure that this part is going in there perfectly, and it looks good. I could just looks decent. So let's go ahead and put in this retaining screw, and just need to make sure that everything is lining up. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and thread in the retaining screw. There we are. And just give it like a little tight turn there. There we are. So now the retaining screw is in there. And I just need to go ahead and pop in these CVAs into the outer drives, and we're ready to put on the rear camber link. So let me go ahead and just thread this at the bottom. There's a ball stud at the bottom. I'll just grab the pliers and just push down. So that is going to connect. Great. And then I'll just connect to this other ball stud off to the side, and it's going to turn it a little bit. There we are. And it's not wanting to snap in. There we go. It should snap in. Everything's just really tight. So there we go. Just going to give it another push. And sometimes when it doesn't snap in, you might want to just try changing up the angle of the ball cup there. And that is looking good. Oh no, it's falling out. So the dog bone's actually falling out. So let me just slide it back in and give it another push. There we go. Yes, that is looking great, and that side is sticking. Alright, so let's go ahead and tackle the left side camber link, and we'll just choose a side to get this to stick in, and we'll push that into the chassis and push this into the camber link. There we go. And it's falling out again, so just be patient, and the step would be easy to complete. Just requires just a little more patience than anything else. But you could be a little bit more harder on it. I just don't want to scratch things up too bad.